Hi guys, it's Joy, and today we are going to expand upon the first video I did of Dustin Dailey, where Dustin Dailey, in my opinion, intentionally took out of context and misrepresented what Shane Dawson and Drew Monsoon did a while ago in some skits. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out. That video, basically, he was sent a big clip reel, which I've seen this going around. He was sent one of these in regards to Shane Dawson and Drew Monsoon, and it's just awful because they completely took everything out of context. They made it seem like Shane was spitting in his mouth, and then they didn't add in there the actual context of it, which was actually Drew spit in Shane's mouth and then Shane did it back, and that's the kind of relationship and friendship that they have, or those are the kind of skits that they do. Also leaving out that this was clearly and obviously a skit, and it was joke, it was satire, it was comedy. It was comedy 8 years ago, but comedy nonetheless. And I don't know, I enjoy that kind of comedy, and guess what? I'm pro humor on this channel, so I think we should bring back humor and comedy without everybody shaming everybody. But I wanted to do a separate video on this because this makes me really mad, because it was Dustin Dailey, Petty Paige, and there were other YouTubers just screaming about how awful and what a bully Shane is. All the while in their videos, you have Shane Dawson being body shamed by people, illness shamed, mental illness shamed, and in this one, it gets even worse. I don't really understand what Dustin Dailey's issue is. He wants to call out Shane for being this horrible person when a lot of it, in my opinion, is BS, and a lot of it I haven't seen evidence for. Now, this is all to exclude his past content that might be offensive to people, especially minorities. You do you. More power to you. And I have all the love in the world for you if you were upset by that. And I would never tell you what to do or how to think or that you have to forgive somebody. That is not my goal. I'm not a minority. I don't ever want to speak on behalf of anybody else. That's not my place. And I'm not here to say whether or not somebody should or shouldn't be offended by that. But I'm just specifically going over this whole thing about, oh, Shane's just so horrible. He spit in somebody's mouth and he body shamed. All why they actually did the same things to him. These videos are to highlight the fact that there are people like Dustin Dailey and Petty Paige who, in my opinion, parade around like social justice warriors, and it's all fake. They don't actually care about body positivity, like Petty Paige says, or about people getting shamed, like Petty and Dustin say. They don't really care about that. They will turn around when they need to, and they will end up lying and saying somebody's doing one thing while they're actually doing the other. And then sometimes they will openly support people who are racist, who body shame, who illness shame, who do all of these things that are apparently against being a social justice warrior. They use it to their advantage, in my opinion, to bully other people. So I want to show you the clips of this because, you know, Dustin is just that good social justice warrior who needs to set things right in the world. And let's see what he has to say about Shane.
The dynamic between Shane and Drew is awkward when you sit back and look at it now and you know everything about Shane and how everything has come out about how Shane allegedly treats people. I saw a clip because Shane had a video, a movie that he did, and apparently him and Zachary Quinto got into it, and props to Zachary Quinto. Zachary Quinto is very hot. But apparently,
things I would like to get into with that Quinto.
But
isn't that objectification and sexual harassment? Aren't those little comments that they made saying that he's hot and all that, isn't that objectifying somebody? And isn't that sexual harassment? Because they don't know if it's warranted, right? Sorry, I'm just playing social justice warrior games. I'm seeing how we can one-up one another.
Zachary Quinto apparently called Shane out because there's behind the scenes footage here on YouTube you can watch of Shane when they're doing this movie. And he's like, oh, these people should just be lucky that they're in,
First of all, Shane Dawson also came out and said during that time that Zachary Quinto was bullying him. Secondly, I want you guys to know, I actually went and watched The Chair. I watched all of that because I thought I would give a rundown of it, and I haven't yet had time to. But you know what? I went and looked back at almost everything that people had said because I've seen those clips being put together and taken. Shane Dawson is pretty mild. Are you kidding me? Have you heard of the crazy, violent directors or the people that are directors and what they do in Hollywood? Have you guys heard of these stories, these people that still have careers? It is not uncommon for a director to act horrible. And considering Shane is mild, and you know what's funny? You know the other director, I forget her name, but she's really nice, sweet young lady. Her criticism was she's not stepping up and she's not being more aggressive as a director. Literally, the stuff Shane said was mild. Also considering he was being bullied, but it is okay to bully Shane Dawson, says fake SJWs like Dustin, because we can profit off of bullying him.
Feature film.
A feature film.
A feature film. When someone says a feature film, you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Going on down to the Piggly Wiggly, or you could go to the little corner store right there. You could dig in the bin. You're like, 99 cents for this movie. I'm gonna watch it. It's a VHS.
Walmart.
So that's what it reminds. No, not even Walmart, girl. You go down to the corner store and they got the bin.
Have you ever been to a Piggly Wiggly?
Are we money shaming people? Because aren't people super upset because Shane and Jeffree apparently money shame people, even though it's come out that a lot of what they were saying was inside jokes with one another? Wait a minute, are they money shaming people who have to go to the corner stores or Piggly Wiggly? Because wouldn't that be shaming minorities and POCs when sometimes that's all they have available to them? Or shaming people that are poor? Doesn't that sound like that's what we're doing here? I'm not even saying that's what they're doing. Again, I'm just using their logic against them. There's nothing wrong with a Piggly Wiggly. There's nothing wrong with a corner store. But I do think it's interesting that you go on and on about feature film. First of all, the hypocrisy that they get mad that Shane says you should be lucky to be in a feature film in Philadelphia. They get mad because how dare Shane say that? But then you go on to make fun of the feature film and say it's in a 99-cent bin. So I guess those people that were in a feature film were also putting them down. I bet those are the same people in the film shop at a Piggly Wiggly. And how dare they? I don't know. Like, to me, this is just how this comes across. And it's mean girl behavior. It's mean girl. There's nothing wrong with having a corner store to shop at. And that's all you have. I've had that. I've shopped at Piggly Wiggly's. There's nothing wrong with shopping at a Piggly Wiggly. And then you'll hear it. They talk about, like, if you come visit me, we're going to go on an excursion. Really? Isn't that the height of just people who, like, wouldn't that be the height of white arrogance, right? Because, you know, they're all about POC and let's protect them and stand up. And a lot of Piggly Wigglies are going to be in very low income areas, and some of those areas are going to be minority areas. And why? Because this country loves to keep minorities in poverty, minorities and people, but specifically, and more so over the years, minorities. Again, they do it to everybody, but minorities have gotten hit hardest the worst. So you guys are going to go on to your entitled white excursion to places where minorities are being suppressed so you can make fun of how the places smell? Oh, yeah, you're really fighting for justice, aren't you? You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like you're being mean girls simply because you're jealous. Because I'm assuming somebody like Dustin Dailey would probably never get the chance to direct anything or probably be in much of anything in his life. And this is just mean girl bullying behavior. And hey, maybe he has. I don't know. Maybe Dustin Dailey is some great actor or whatever. No disrespect to him. But this just sounds like bullying because you're jealous and then putting down minorities and people in poverty because money shaming is okay when it fits your narrative.
No.
You've never
I don't think I've ever been to a Piggly Wiggly, but I know a lot about
When we go visit my family, there is a Piggly Wiggly like 10 minutes away from where they live. I'm going to take you. And it has It's been there since probably before I was a kid, before I even was conceived. But the Piggly Wiggly always has this like distinct smell.
Do they?
It has like an old smell. It's like a very old building. It's weird.
Is it asbestos?
No, girl.
So it's okay for them to do playful jabs and banter that could even be slightly offensive. Not okay for Shane and his friend to do it to one another. And of course, shame people in low-income areas. Shame them for the fact that many times they don't get access to anything healthy. And yeah, there are still places that are infested with asbestos. Especially places that are low income and minority, because we make sure and attack those people's health and then we don't give them the money to help them get better, turn it around, or even have a medical system that has knowledge to be able to help them or take their issues seriously. Again, isn't that the white privilege you fight against, guys? Isn't that what that is? But here's the funny thing. Look at their face, his face, and how disgusted he is about smells. Because here comes the body and illness shaming. Here we go.
But, you know, with Garrett, he uploaded his video and he threw shade at Jeffree. I think it's just a matter of time because I think people are going to start coming out more about Shane. And you know what? If Drew is comfortable and he watches videos about Shane and you've made it here and you're watching this video, Drew, say something, because this is what he done to you and how he treated you was not acceptable.
Just spit in someone's face.
Girl, hands would have flown. Hair would have been everywhere. A table would have been flipped over.
So he says that the way Shane treated you isn't acceptable when we've actually debunked the fact that what he and Paige and other people put up were lies. They were intentional lies that were intentionally left out just to make Shane look bad. And once again, he already did this in the first video. Second time, he's trying to pull out Drew Monsoon. You need to come out. You need to speak about this. It's just not okay. More and more people are going to talk. Well, Dustin, more and more people have to talk. Otherwise, how will you have a channel and what will you have to talk about? Because all you do is mean girl gossip. That's really all you do. So what would you even have to say to people? Now, the next thing you're about to hear when they're talking about spitting on, again, but I guess it's okay for Drew to spit on Shane. We don't talk about that or leave that in the video, right? It was all about Shane retaliating and doing that, even though they have the kind of friendship, they're fine to do that because, you know, you don't get to put your own boundaries on your friendships and relationships. Dustin gets to decide for you what your boundaries in your relationships and friendships should be because he's such a decent person who's really fighting against justice. But now, let's hear the piece de la resistance. Now, about Shane spitting, this is what is said.
I brushed his teeth that day.
Oh,
They
girl,
eat before.
I'm gonna be honest. It really, like, I don't know that Shane has really good dental care because he looks like he would have, like, chronic stink breath. For real. Like, we already know he don't already wash his ass. So if you're not washing your ass, I don't think you're brushing your teeth.
I think that's totally a gimmick, that he doesn't shower and all of that.
Well, you met him. Did he stink?
I didn't, like, sniff. I wasn't, like...
He probably showered for that. He probably showered for that, girl.
I don't know. He was nice when I met him, but maybe he was fake. I don't know.
No, Dustin Dailey's friend. Like, I've seen him, but I know his channel name, but I don't, it's like the viewer's voice, but I don't remember his name. That it means no disrespect. I have memory issues. So what I'm about to say actually comes from my own experience. You both are disgusting ableists. How flipping dare either one of you? How dare you shame somebody for literally you guys making up lies and insults that Shane's hygiene is poor. You know nothing of Shane's hygiene. And furthermore, Trisha made sure to tell the world, you know, in the way that a decent, respectful person does, that Shane is having issues with wanting to leave the planet and acting upon that. And he's in therapy and he's really struggling. First of all, if that is true, and I would actually side with Trisha's probably accurate in that. When I say side with, I'm saying I would believe her in that. I think it's disgusting she would put that private information out about him. But a lot of people who go through depression, a lot of people who go through anxiety, a lot of people who are fighting those feelings of wanting to leave and acting upon it, guess what? They have a hard time even getting out of bed. And sometimes they might not shower every day. Their hygiene could be bad. Guess what? There are some days my hygiene is bad. There were some days I could go 2 or 3 days without taking a shower. You want to shame me? It was because I was in so much physical pain and my heart didn't work that I couldn't shower. I physically couldn't. How do you know Shane isn't dealing with a physical illness? You are the same people, Dustin Dailey, you are the same people that thought it was funny when the world body shamed me for being ill, but you're a social justice warrior. Grow up, you're a bully. You're a bully. I try as much as I can, even though I don't like these people and what they do because they're bullies, to be fair and level-headed, but seeing that makes my blood boil because people like you, where are you and where are your voices for the people who are disabled and chronically sick, who get pennies to live on and are just thrown out by society? Do you know how many people are homeless because they're chronically sick or have mental health issues? You want to shame them for how they smell? Yet we don't even know what Shane's hygiene is. Not that it's any of our business, but you just want to mean, oh, I bet he stinks. I bet he stinks. You, who wants to make fun of the people and basically mock the fact that people shop at Piggly Wiggly and Piggly Wiggly smells. Like, white entitlement, get off of your high horse. My goodness, what a prejudice piece of garbage. What a like, if I'm going to be hung out to dry because of sarcastic, silly comments I said about race, that I have said was not my intention to be hurtful and I've apologized repeatedly for, but you get to get away with this, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. You get to get away with modern day disgusting bullying of people who have mental illness and people who might be chronically sick? Shame on you. Shame on you. You are one of the fakest people on YouTube. And the fact is, they're going to start going into how fake people are. And by the way, the other one who was saying stuff, he made sure to say, I met Shane. He didn't smell, but I didn't sniff him. Really? Because it sounds like you guys just run, or maybe specifically Dustin, runs around trying to sniff people out to see what their personal hygiene is so maybe he can figure out who he can make fun of or gossip in. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Dustin? You are such a bully. But let's see the piece de la resistance. Let's see what they have to say about fake YouTubers Let's listen.
Well, girl, people
I don't know,
like that, they're like chameleons. You never know. They change their colors for whoever they're with, and then they change them when they're with somebody else.
I don't know,
A
girl.
lot of snakes in the community.
I don't know. People here on the YouTube are all fake.
There's
Well, I'm glad you guys called yourselves out. Unless, Dustin, you just go around mocking the disabled, mocking the mentally ill, and mocking anybody you think even might have hyporgy. Not that they do, but they might. Dustin, do you have any idea what it's like to not be able to brush your teeth that day? Because if you have the energy to lay in bed and eat a meal, and I say lay in bed because I've been here, if you only have the energy to lay in bed and eat and have to be assisted walking to the bathroom back and forth to get sick or brush your teeth, which one are you going to choose? Have you ever been in that position, Dustin? Then shut your mouth. You know, your mouth. The same type of mouths from people that you like to joke and say, I bet that person is stinky. I'm sorry, that's so disgusting. And you know what, Dustin? Here's the kicker. If you are lucky enough one day to be able to age, get older, and then peacefully pass away, guess what? One day, you're not going to be able to have good hygiene either. I know right now, I don't know what your health is. I'm just going to assume it's a decent health. And because of your ableist behavior, I'm just going to assume it. But trust me, these bodies don't last forever. And the fact that you would judge somebody based off of what they're going, where's your compassion for the fact that Trisha has told everybody Shane wants to leave the planet? But we have compassion for Drew Monsoon and his anxiety. Grow up.
We're talking about it on the podcast.
We're gonna drag Amanda insane because it's what she deserves.
Good old polyester.
Polyester insane because she's fake.
So we're going to shame somebody for what they wear? Or people could say, and I could hear the comments, no, that's kind of inside joke. Well, no. If Shane and me and other people don't get to inside joke, then neither does Dustin. This right here was just mean girl. We're going to drag it because that's what she deserves. Just like Shane deserves to be drugged because you've made up a rumor that he stinks and how disgusting he is, and people that shop at Piggly Wiggly are disgusting because Piggly Wiggly stinks because it's old, and you guys are going to go on a whole white entitlement excursion over there. And money shame. Is this a joke? Like, I feel like, am I living in the Twilight Zone where all these people who act like they actually care about any social issues or trying to make positivity or changes in the world end up being bullies and we cheer and clap them on? Guys, this is why when I see the majority and they just love and they stand behind somebody like Dustin Dailey, this is why I don't care if I'm liked. This is why I don't care if I'm downvoted. This is why I don't care if you leave negative comments, because if you get behind this behavior or behavior like Trisha Paytas or all of the other bullies that are out there, yeah, I don't care if you like me. In fact, it's a badge of honor that you don't. Because you and I have such a disagreement with how to treat people with kindness and respect and dignity. I'm glad in this we don't see eye to eye. And maybe one day, I'm hoping Gen Z grows up from this cloud of self-absorption and bullying and cowardice that they have about getting famous at all costs on social media, no matter who you hurt, and we go back to decency. You know, what social justice warriors are supposed to fight for, but really, they parade around so they can turn around and be bullies. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, like the video, also subscribe, hit notifications so you can be notified when I upload content. If you like this video, sound off in the comments. Tell me what you think. Curious either which way, what you think there. And guys, please share this content with people you might think that like it. And you know what? Please don't shame people. Don't shame people who are mentally ill. And don't shame people who are mentally ill or physically ill and might be having a hard time with personal hygiene. And please don't make up rumors that that's the case when you have no idea, especially when the guy says, well, he didn't smell. Like, how mean? What happened in Dustin's life to just make him become such a mean human being to other people? I question that. I don't know. I don't know, because I don't see much of a personality from him. I just see somebody that's mean to be mean. And hey, unfortunately, that's entertaining for a lot of people. Not for me, but a lot of people. All right, guys, take care. Blessings. I'm going to get videos ready, and I have more to say on this because we're going to hear the worst apology you ever heard. All right. Bye, guys.